We made it to Prudhoe Bay! This has been quite a long time of dreaming to get all the way up here to the very, very top of Alaska and the Arctic Ocean. It's just amazing to be so far north. So we feel very accomplished, and it's really cool to see all the other overlanders too that have made it here. And we're just two people, part of a larger community of awesome travelers.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Notier's Frontiers Journal. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Notier's Frontiers.
In this series, we travel all over the world on our KTM 1190 adventure motorcycle. We've been through the Americas to the very bottom of South America. We've been halfway up through Africa. And now we are completing that journey from the most southern point in South America, which is Ushuaia in Argentina, and connecting the line all the way up to the most northern point in North America, which is Prudhoe Bay in Alaska.
Deadhorse, indeed.
In the last episode, we were traveling on our way to Deadhorse, also known as Prudhoe Bay. And we could see the town of Deadhorse in the distance.
Yeah.
And this was the culmination of our entire Alaska trip. This was our end goal. You know, we wanted to get into the Arctic.
This was a goal. This was a major goal.
Yes.
End goal. This was like one of the first things we did in Alaska.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it an end goal, actually. I take that back.
And what I do appreciate about Deadhorse opposed to Ushuaia is I could totally spell Deadhorse. That is awesome. I've written books that I've mentioned Ushuaia countless of times. I write blog posts all the time. I write magazine articles, and every time I attempt Ushuaia, it's some different form. That the red squiggly line.
Marisa, how do you spell Ushuaia again?
And we led our steel horse to Deadhorse. There's a shuttle bus you can take for like a 20-mile cruise up to the bay where you can do an Arctic dip. But we chose to wait for that magical moment from Norway.
Yes. Just because the bus was so expensive and the hotel was already going to be expensive.
The hotel wasn't it was, oh my God.
Here we are in Deadhorse. We're gonna check out some lodging options.
Deadhorse is not a metropolis by any means.
No, it's not even a place where people actually live. No. It is solely there because of the very rich oil fields that are in that area of northern Alaska. In fact, not that long ago, there was no town there, there was no road there, it was just a desolate Arctic area. But now, because of the discovery of oil, it is the largest producing oil site in North America.
Yeah.
They have built this big road, the Dalton Highway, which we've been taking for 2 days to get there. And they have a little town that has sprung up, and that is Deadhorse.
Yeah.
And that's where most of those oil workers stay.
It's made up of just like pods, right? Like
Yeah.
they chucked everything in and then it's stacked in like Lego pieces.
It also has to contend with all of the terrible weather
Yeah.
that is up there. I mean, you are very close to the North Pole. And so, obviously, extremely harsh winters. There is no blocking the wind up there. There's nothing. It's very flat. It's very desolate. It's just tundra. And then you have the Arctic Ocean winds coming off of that as well. So it is extremely harsh conditions.
But we were there on a 60-degree day. It was nice. It was beautiful.
As we pulled into Deadhorse, we had to make the decision of whether we were going to stay in a hotel or if we were going to camp. We discussed this for a long time.
Yeah.
In fact, for months beforehand. We're like, oh, we should just camp. It would be really cool camping in the Arctic. You have to watch out for polar bears. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
But it's actually a little tricky. It's very open and barren out there, and they don't really recommend that you do tent camping because of the bears. Now, this was the summer.
Not grizzly, or not polar bears,
not polar
but there
bears.
are grizzly bears. You know, and we wanted a nice night's rest.
Yes. Also, I was very interested in this strange world of Deadhorse because it's such an industrial town. They don't really have proper hotels. They have these places where the workers live and work and sleep, and then they have a section that you might be able to stay in as a guest. And I thought that's a really cool experience. It's something that I wanted to do. So we decided to use our Temple of Moto support and have a luxurious stay, luxurious for Deadhorse, that is, a luxurious stay in a hotel room that night where we could be warm and we could shower and we could have, most importantly, shades over the window.
Yeah.
We have arrived in Prudhoe Bay.
Deadhorse, yes, that's true. At the most expensive little hotel we've ever stayed in our life. Super excited.
The view outside of our
This
window.
is the view. No one's stealing the motorcycle.
This is as lovely as it gets here in Prudhoe Bay,
This
so
is
we
it.
really
Look at
lucked
that.
out with this view.
I see a deer. It's a John Deere.
And just to recap, Temple of Moto is an awesome little tour guide. He's from Chicago, based out of Chicago. We met Michele a couple times in person before we went on a tour with him as well in Yellowstone.
Yes.
He's a very funny Italian guy that
He's super awesome.
he's super awesome, and more of their tours niche is like you get to camp in really luxurious places. So I don't think Prudhoe Bay would ever be on the list because it's not glamping. There's no chef making your own meals, but
Right, like the other tours are based around some glorious piece of nature, and then you have some really unique camping accommodations.
yeah. And Temple of Moto, they were kind enough to support us and said, hey man, when you're out there on the road and you're getting beat up, we'll get you a hotel every once in a while.
But you know what? We have Temple of Moto to thank for this hotel. We're so thankful because we really needed this rest.
Yeah, we are not going to deal with the mosquitoes and the forever sun. Look at this, folks. This is something that you out there in YouTube world might not be impressed about, but you shut the shutters, turn off the light, it's dark. It's been days since I've seen dark that's not in a porta potty.
So yeah, we found ourselves in this little modulated, like, if I figure if we ever colonize the moon, we'll know what to do because of Prudhoe Bay.
It had these little rooms, just long hallways, and the rooms were, of course, built for the workers, so they had the symmetrical sides of little beds. I wanted to show you around our room here a little bit. There's a lot of workers here, and when it comes to tourist accommodations, it's a little bit lacking because it really focuses primarily on industry. But they do have a couple places where workers do stay, but they allow for tourists to stay as well. And we are in one such spot. The buildings are very they look like container ship, kind of long, just rectangles. Our room is one such little room within what I consider to be kind of like a submarine of a building. It's just a long hallway with lots of rooms on either side, and each little room has its 2 beds. Everything is mirrored on the other side. We have our, excuse the mess, we have made a little bit of a mess in here. Closet over here, and then a closet over there as well. And then of course the window, but pretty basic accommodation. But you can see how it must stay really nice and warm and toasty in here in the winter time.
And there was nothing romantic about it. There was no honeymoon suite. There was no saunas.
No.
There were shared showers.
The men's bathroom, they built to be huge, like almost half the size of one of these long kind of trailer-like buildings. And then the women's bathroom is like a tiny little area. But that makes sense because, you know, they were building for workers, and the vast majority of the oil workers out here are men. But you know what there was that we were desperate for?
What?
Food.
Oh yeah, that food.
This is what I'm excited for. Home-cooked food, because they don't really have a proper grocery store there. It's
Nope.
not like you can even just get food there.
You can get snacks at the general store.
Yeah, like Twizzlers. I mean,
That's
you can get
food.
Twizzlers, but
That's
it is
food for me.
food.
Again, Tim kind of town.
But when it comes to actual food, these big places where the industrial workers stay will cook in a big cafeteria for everyone over there.
And
so
if workers get first dibs.
a lot of the stuff they have to make right there. So they would make their own like hamburger buns, they make their own brownies.
She made cake.
I said, I'm here almost every other weekend. I said, you're moving.
We met up with our buddies Brian and Paula, who we had met in, all the way back in Dawson.
Yeah, in Canada.
You know, the fun part of going up like one stretch of road that leads to absolute nowhere is that you kind of, you know, piggyback back and forth.
It was so nice seeing them. Good morning. We have just woken up here in Prudhoe Bay. It's super, super amazing to be here. I just kind of opened my eyes this morning and it was really dark because we had these blinds over the windows, and that was the first time that we've been able to have any type of darkness. I was like, wow, where am I? And then it occurred to me that I am on the top of the world. I am so close to the North Pole, pretty much as close as you can get by land. And just across the water here is the expanse to the North Pole. It's just ocean and icebergs and polar bears, and it was such a really, really cool feeling. Now, Deadhorse is the literal end of the road. So here is a map of the town of Deadhorse. Here you can see that there's a checkpoint. That's because all of this is government territory after that point where it's all the oil production facilities. So you can't go past there. There is more to the road, but you are not allowed to take it as just a regular person because
Government
it is
property,
from the oil fields. But it is possible to go on these buses that take you to the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah,
So
they
that
sell
you
them
can-
as like tours.
Yeah.
It's a Greyhound bus ride, and then they say go put your feet in. And you back on the bus.
And by the way, that is something that we're interested in doing.
Everybody we've talked to and thoroughly enjoyed that experience. So we're not poo-pooing it by any means. But for $140, the hotel room was $220.
Yes. I have mosquito bites here and here and here and here. Big old one here. And the next morning, we realized there was a lot of Deadhorse that we still needed to kind of conquer, I guess you could say.
There was a sign.
There was a sign, I guess.
Yeah. Here's your sign.
There was the store, though. The general store with the Twizzlers.
Accidentally. This is not a Lewis and Clark expedition. This was a let's go find the sign.
We are going to head over from where we are here to the supply store, which they call the Deadhorse Mall. Ooh. It also has a post office. There's a coffee shop right next door. There's 2 gas stations. And then that's the end of the road. So there is this sign that has become very popular with overlanders and travelers who make it all the way up to Deadhorse, and then they put their sticker up on the sign, or they just go to look at the sign and
You
take
put
a
your
picture.
sticker on the sign. You
Well,
do
if
not
you don't
drive
have
to
a
Deadhorse.
sticker.
Then you made a bad move, people.
If you got there
You
without a
rode
sticker,
all the way that way.
shame
and
on
you
you.
didn't bring a sticker?
We made it to Prudhoe Bay! This has been quite a long time of dreaming to get all the way up here to the very, very top of Alaska and the Arctic Ocean. It's just amazing to be so far north. So we feel very accomplished, and it's really cool to see all the other overlanders too that have made it here. And we're just 2 people, part of a larger community of awesome travelers.
But yeah, we actually met the guy, what was his name, Terry?
Yeah.
That made the sign, and I don't even know what year, 15, 16, 17, I'm not sure. I have seen some pictures of it from 2017 with not a lot of stickers on it, but we met the creator, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain of the sign. He showed me a picture of the sign, bare bones, the day he put it up.
Yeah, and he just thought, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
He had no idea what a big thing it was going
now
to
it's
become.
a landmark.
It is. It's a real landmark, and of course we had to go see it.
Yeah, no, it was nice. I don't know why I like signs so much, but I'm a big sign guy.
And we also met up with a couple who had driven the entire Pan American Highway in the 70s and wrote a book about it called The Longest Drive.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to meet them.
Chit and chat with them.
And they would prove to be
Quite useful.
quite helpful in the future.
This is true. But we had officially checked out of our expensive hotel, and we're not going to be staying another night.
No.
And so we got back on the motor scooter, and after we got some official stickers to put on the bike and had put our stickers on the sign in an equal trade,
Yep.
we headed back south, the one direction.
That's right. It was the end of the road, so now we had to come all the way back. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I hope you liked this one. If you did, please give us a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below.
Double ding.
And we'll be seeing you next time.
Stay safe, everybody.
Bye.
Peace.
Really thankful to have made it all the way up to Prudhoe Bay. We have so many people to thank, such as Temple of Moto and all of our friends and family back at home.
And all the people who bought us a gallon of gas.
Yes.
And everybody who's on Patreon, and just everybody who just comments, you know, positive messages on our Facebook and Instagram and here on the Tube of You. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, we couldn't have done it without you.
This is true.
Thank you.
Peace.